All right, Eric Mark, Standing in Place, episode 51. We're almost at 52. We're almost at a full year worth of weeks of Standing in Place, which is almost accurate. I missed 1 week. I'm pretty sure it's only 1 week that I missed. But we're going to get 52. I see it. I see it in the future because the future is the next number, and it's 51 now, so 52 is after 51. What's today? March 30th. March 30th. Almost April Fool's Day. I hope everybody's prepared for April Fool's Day because that's when all the jokes are played. And as a child, I used to look forward to April Fool's Day because that was the day that I could prank my parents. I very much looked forward to this. I wasn't very creative with the pranks. I was aware of one prank, and I'll share it with you, that was tremendously successful the first time that I did it. And then every April Fool's Day, my parents were damn well aware that I was doing the same prank, and it didn't work out. And it wasn't putting shrink wrap on the toilet, which is not on a toilet seat. If you're going to put shrink wrap on the toilet, you got to lift the toilet seat, you put shrink wrap over the bowl, put the toilet seat down, put the lid down. That's when you get your reasonable reaction, because everything ends up essentially landing on a trampoline. That's not the prank. I never had the nerve to do that. I was scared. I was scared of my parents. Mostly my dad, but I was scared of my parents. No, the prank that I used to do, and I'll share it with you, so get prepared. April 1st, I think I'll get this thing released before that. Get yourself a rubber band or a hair tie, and that's really all you need. Maybe some Scotch tape. If you're in a home that has a hand sprayer by the sink, like where you squeeze it and go psh, like spray off your dishes or something, just put a rubber band around the handle. Then when the first person goes to go use the sink, they flip the lever, and that thing sprays them and soaks them in the kitchen. And it's hilarious. And when you're whatever age, I don't remember what age I became so clever to be aware of this prank, but it was hilarious to me. And having a soaked mother in the kitchen, at least as a tile floor, well, linoleum tile floor, it's not so bad. It's not so bad. And haha, the kid was clever, until I tried to reuse the same prank over and over and over again. So, you're welcome. You're set for April Fool's Day. This week, I wanted to share. So I got to go snowboarding this past weekend and had an amazing powder day. Who here loves a powder day? Powder day is incredible, right? You want to get out, you get that deep pow. You want to go make fresh turns and all that fresh champagne powder. Why is it called powder? What about the snow is powder? It's not. I could understand like maybe the spray, if you like make a really sweet turn and it kind of sprays and it's like powdery. But that's not true at all, because if you take a bag of flour and you throw it against a wall, it doesn't look anything like what it looks like when you ski or snowboard in fresh POW. POW. They even used the acronym for Protect Our Winters. They stuck with POW. But powder is not a good descriptor of what's going on, of this like, it's water on pause. It's not the same consistency as powder. Like, why don't they call it, it's a goose down conditions. Goose down, it's all the fluff. People do say fluff. I've never heard goose down though. But powder is weird. Because if you think of other powders, what's a powder? Like talcum powder? It's nothing like talcum powder. It doesn't smell anything like talcum powder. Also, talcum powder is something you use to make yourself dry. You put talcum powder on an area that is getting irritation because it's had a lot of moisture on it, and the skin gets soft and then it gets damaged because it's rubbing. So you put talcum powder and it dries it out, right? So that it makes that area stay dry. If you take a fistful of snow or powder from the mountain and put it in the same location, it's going to have a horrible effect. It's going to give you wet shorts. It's going to not make that area dry. It's going to make it wetter. You're going to be uncomfortable. Your clothing's going to be ruined. It's going to be like it was April Fool's Day and there was a child in the house that was wrapping rubber bands around the hand sprayer. That's what it's going to be like. And that's not the result we're looking for. Powder seems like the wrong term. Flour is powder. Sand, sometimes you can have sand, it's called like moon dusty sand. It's just like really, you go through it and it all goes up in the air and then it like hangs in the air. Like it makes like a cloud. If you have very sandy, powdery conditions and you ride a dirt bike or a car through it fast, it throws it all up in the air and then you have to wait for it all to settle before you can go. That's not what the snow does. The snow falls down right away. It might, if you're right behind somebody, it might throw up enough that it gets in your way, but it's not the same as powder. I don't know why this is the term we've decided to use and why we've stuck with it. We're so committed to powder. Why don't you just call it snow? It's a deep snow day. Snow is its own thing. There isn't really anything that acts like snow. The way that you would carve turns in snow, on skis or a snowboard going down a hill, the only way you can replicate that same like mechanism, that same style of moving through the surface down a hill is a sand dune. You can take a snowboard or skis and you go down a sand dune and it's going to behave very similarly. But we don't call it, it's not like, look at all the white sand. It's a deep sand day. No, it's a deep POW day. But it's really a deep snow day. And it's its own thing. It's just it's an odd descriptor. It's an odd descriptor for what it is. And it's found its way into other things, which I find even more concerning. Because there's something called brown POW. Brown POW. And it's a term that like mountain bikers will use. I don't know if dirt bikers use it. But it's like, oh, look at all the brown POW. Which I've never used this term. I've used hero dirt. I'm guilty of that. I've never used brown POW. And I always thought that brown POW was just like weird, loose, maybe somewhat tacky dirt. But enough that like if you make a turn, it kind of throws it up. And maybe that's why it's brown POW. But I wanted to be clear on the explanation of at least how it's described. So of course, I did internet. Click, click, click. Brown POW. And the first thing that comes up for brown POW is an Urban Dictionary definition, which was not what I was expecting. It's not something I was even aware of. And I don't want to say on here what it was. But you should go to Urban Dictionary, type in brown POW, and find out what that is. Because it doesn't have anything to do with the snow on a mountain or the dirt. I think it's more of like a brown POW. And it's concerning. I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it unless you have a partner that's very willing to be surprised. So, yeah, that's a brown POW I wasn't aware of. But I did find some write-ups of what mountain bikers, I gotta stop doing air quotes, would refer to as brown POW. And it's pretty much just good dirt, good grippy dirt. Excellent riding conditions. Brown POW. It's not powder. It's not anything like the snow version of powder. The snow version of powder isn't anything like powder. It's just like snow. You wouldn't ever call the stuff on the trail brown snow, because brown snow is something that is just dirty snow. If you live in an area where it stays cold long enough and cars can drive by, splash the snow, the plows go by, all the road grime and dirt, and it gives you brown snow, which I guess could be brown POW, but also still doesn't resemble the thing you're going to want to ride on a trail. So brown POW is a crock. It's not a term that should exist. The brown POW, okay, fine. Not really recommended. Powder, as in, oh, it's powder day, deep POW. It should just be deep snow. It's it. We don't need another term for it. Just call it what it is. Snow is amazing. Snow is is water between being ice and liquid water, right? It's already like a unique circumstance. If it was just ice, it'd be terrible. You've been on a hill after a freeze and thaw. It was all ice cube. You'd be on ice skates. It'd be terrible. Snow is very special already. And it should just be called snow. The snow is deep. The snow is amazing. A lot of snow today. I don't know. I will say Saturday was probably the best day I've had all season. Snow was freaking fantastic. So deep, so good. Free refills all day. Fantastic. But I wasn't powdery. And I wouldn't use it to dry something out or bake. Imagine baking with snow. If you baked with snow, that would be terrible. If you baked, could you use snow in place of water in a recipe? You could, but the measurement, I'll warn you, the measurement wouldn't work right. Because I've done this now where I've been in the woods and I was melting snow to make a hot drink. And you have to use a lot of snow in order to make a little bit of water. So if you need 1 cup of water and you have 1 cup of snow, your recipe's fucked. It's not going to be right. It's not even going to be close. Yeah. Don't use that powder for your recipes. That's not a good plan. Oh well. I think that's all we're going to talk about tonight. We'll get this one done quick. Excited to coming up on 52. Hope all of you are doing well. Getting some sun. Staying healthy. Get your vitamin D. And yeah. See you next week. Alright, take care.